In this case study, we're looking at housing prices, and in particular how the demand and supply model can be used to explain what drives housing prices over time. In this first slide, I've got a time series of housing prices in Perth from 1974, and a couple of things to note here. First of all, housing prices rose quite sharply in 1989 from the previous year, but then in 1990 and 91 we had 2 years of consecutive falls in housing prices in Perth. Now that was a result of the 1990-91 recession, which we'll be learning about later on in this course. But then from 1991 onwards, throughout the 1990s, housing prices returned to a moderate, or growing at a moderate pace. In around about 2000, however, there's quite a clear structural break in the growth rate in housing prices, and then they really began to accelerate in 2003 onwards. It's quite interesting to look at where housing prices would have been in 2013 if they had have increased at the same rate as they increased in the 1990s. So putting a straight line across the top of those housing prices in 1990 and extrapolating out to 2013, adding in some compounding as well, compounding of prices as they grew over time, we get housing prices of around about $300,000, which is substantially less than the $500,000 we're seeing at the moment. So then the question is, well, what caused housing prices to grow so strongly in Perth? Now, to get some insights into this, we're going to use the demand and supply model. And this model will only provide us with some insights into this question. The model won't give us all of the answers, but it'll give us some of the important answers. Now I've drawn it so that the demand curve shifts from D to D1 and the supply curve shifts from S to S1. Both of those contribute to quite a large increase in prices. Let's not focus on the supply curve for now, let's focus on the demand curve. Now remember, this is the market for established homes. So I'm not going to look at or think about the market for new homes, I'm just going to keep it simple, and this is the market for established homes. Now from 2000 onwards, what were the main factors that increased the demand? Well, you could probably come up with the reasons as well as I can. Things such as strong population growth, strong immigration from other countries, people moving to Perth because of the mining boom. So all of those factors were tied into the mining boom. Strong income growth would have added purchasing power to the family's budgets. Other factors such as negative gearing laws saw a very strong growth in investor activity in this market over that period as well. There are other factors that increased the demand for houses in Perth in the early 2000s, so we've got quite a few of them there. I've listed quite a few of them there. Maybe you could add some factors yourself. But a list of the factors is not the important part of this case study. The important part of this case study is realizing that while there was a substantial increase in the demand for housing, there was also, over this period, there was also a leftward shift in supply. And it's the leftward shift in supply that most people don't consider or don't realize occurred. Now, a leftward shift in the supply of established houses, that doesn't mean houses were getting destroyed. For an established house to be part of the supply curve in this market, it's actually got to be put on the market for sale. So houses that are not for sale, that people simply living in, are not part of this market. So this market is all about people who are wanting to buy homes and homeowners who are willing to who want to sell their homes. So for a home to be part of the supply of this of houses in this market, that house has got to be on the market for sale. So during this period when housing prices were experiencing very strong growth, what was occurring was that people, rather than selling their homes, were actually holding on to their homes because of the expectation of continued capital growth. So that's why I've drawn the supply curve here, shifting to the left from S to S1. It simply reflects the fact that fewer houses were coming onto the market for sale. So as I said before, this case study is all about getting you to realize that while there was a substantial increase in the demand for established houses in Perth, there was also a reduction in supply as well.